Hi, welcome to my channel. First of all, let me say, let's try and get through this before it pours down with rain here again. The UK is just tragic at the moment. It's constantly raining and it's really difficult for me to film and get the lighting right, and it's tough. This house is quite dark, so there's only one place really that I can film with any decent light. So this is about self-concept. Can you have a good self-concept and still be unlucky in love? So still see the relationships in your life not turning out the way you want them to. Why the hell is that? When you feel really good about yourself and you do feel like you're worth it, you do, well, deserving doesn't really come into it, I don't really like that word, but you do feel all of those good things about yourself. You can see the great stuff about yourself, but you are still not manifesting that love that it is that you want. Why is that? You can feel amazing about yourself, but there'll be something else going on in there that is stopping that love from unfolding the way that you want it to. So maybe you are dating and you'll date somebody for a bit and then they'll end things, or they'll just stop speaking to you. Something is going on and you can't understand it because you think, well, I know these great things about myself. I know that I'm a great person. I'm attractive, I'm fun to be around, I'm first choice. You might feel all of those things, so you really can't understand what's going on. Let me tell you what's going on here. Okay, now I used to have this thing where I thought I felt that I wasn't good enough, but I really took a look at that feeling and realised that that wasn't it at all. I really did feel that I was good enough, but I thought that other people just didn't notice it. Other people weren't seeing what I knew about myself. And it was a eureka moment to me. I thought, oh my God, well, of course. Because I was looking for an agent at the time, a literary agent. A lot of stuff was going on and I felt like people just weren't noticing it. And I think, why can't they see that? And then I suddenly realised that program that I had running, that people just weren't noticing it. I could see it, but they couldn't see it. Okay, so that's what you're looking for. You're looking for something that's running on autopilot inside of you, a program that's running on autopilot, and it could be something like that. That's really simple, isn't it? To sort of uncover that, think, oh my God. So you need to deal with that and look at, where did that come from? Where did that feeling come from? And you might know and you might not. I think mine probably went way back for a need for people to see that I was good at stuff and people not noticing it back then. And I do remember feeling that when I was younger. So basically I just dealt with that. I thought, oh my God, of course that's going to unfold to me. If I think I'm good enough, what do I care what other people think? So I looked at it that way. I thought, I don't care what anyone else thinks. As long as I know that I'm good enough, then I can disregard that. That's more of what I did. So I did kind of disregard it. I didn't even kind of heal the program because I felt as soon as I knew what it was, it stopped flying under the radar and I dealt with it, and then it was just nothing to me, and then I started to fly from there really. And that's the key, is if you have this going on where you feel that other people aren't noticing it, say to yourself this: what do I care? As long as I know it, the ones that I really want to recognise it will recognise it in me. Say anything that kind of soothes you really and makes you feel better, or go back to where you know it came from. So it's often childhood, and deal with it. Heal it. Heal that version of you from back then. Deal with it. As soon as you deal with it, it stops flying under the radar and it becomes less powerful, but you have to know it's there. So so you can have an amazing self-concept, really feel great about yourself, but there's something else going on in there that's holding this love back from you, holding these relationships back from you, meaning that they don't unfold in the way that you would like them to unfold. They don't ever seem to get going maybe, or maybe you're just not finding anybody worth dating, that you're finding that there's nobody out there. See, that could be another thing that you've got going on. There's nobody out there, nobody decent out there at the moment. There's a scarcity or something like that. So that when you do go on a date with somebody, you don't particularly find anything attractive about them because you're feeling like all of the good ones are taken. So anything like that, you see, these internal programs, these autopilot programs are what holds those decent relationships back from us. So you need to have a look and see what's going on. It's not so much an internal belief that you have, but it's a program that you have. So you may not know that you have that belief until you go deep and have a look and think, what is going on in there? Okay, I'm not seeing any relationship show up to me the way that I want. And I do have a really great self-concept, so I should be. Now the thing is, if you have a good self-concept, what will happen is when you do get into a relationship, your good self-concept comes with not caring to validate yourself to anybody else, not caring for anybody else to validate you. So once you get to that stage, that is an amazing stage to be at, and I think I'm at that stage now, but you also need to look at what's going on here. If you're not managing to get those relationships, to sustain those relationships, why is that? What else could be going on in there? So that's the simple one. Are people just not noticing how great I am? I mean, if it's that, awesome, because that's a fairly easy one to deal with, because it is a bit of a like, oh whoa, yeah, that's what it is, but it may be something different. I just want to say this, ultimately, our future, our present and our future is our responsibility. It's nobody else's responsibility. So you cannot continue to blame someone for the way your life is turning out now, because every decision you make is yours to make. Do not give somebody that treated you badly the power to carry on impacting your future, your present and your future. What we tend to do is, if we feel really badly about how somebody's treated us and it annoys, and things aren't going right, and we start going back to that point and blaming that particular person or those people, we bring that energy into the present. And once we bring it into the present, it's a now energy. Your subconscious does not know that it is past, and it doesn't disregard it. It regards it, and it takes it on board, and it gives you back more stuff that shows to you that this is the way life is. So you are giving that person or those people power over your present and your future by keep thinking about them. So today is the day to go, stuff it, okay, that did do me harm, that did, and those people kind of should have watched what they said and what they did, but they didn't, and it's done. But this is my life, this is my present, my future, and I cannot let it impact me anymore. And it will, if I keep bringing it back, bringing the energy in, no matter how great my self-concept is now. And so I might have worked at all of that because they made me feel like that, but I've worked at all of that. I feel good about myself now. I know all these great things about myself, whilst still bringing that energy back from the past to the present. Just imagine everything as energy. So if you're bringing that, you're ruminating on it, and you're building that energy up again within you, so your body is reacting to those feelings accordingly. So it could even be making you ill, and your subconscious is taking it, oh, that's happening now, that's happening now, oh okay. And think about your subconscious as being a partner with reality. So if there's a partnership going on there, they work together, they work in harmony. So your subconscious then goes, oh, she wants this, she's feeling this, this and this, please give her some more of that, please give her evidence of that. And reality goes, oh, okay, cool. And that's what it does. And that's what you're doing. So regardless of how great your self-concept is, if you've still got this other stuff going on, I never say don't work at your self-concept. That's the most amazing thing. If you feel good about yourself, it is great. It's always a positive, never a negative. But don't think that you will manifest everything you want if you have a good self-concept. It's really nothing to do with that. A good self-concept will help you in relationships. A good self-concept will help you in life in general, will help you at work, will help you in any situation. So a good self-concept backed up with not needing any validation, that's really important. Always hugely positive, but has nothing to do really with bringing things into your reality and creating things. You could have a bad self-concept, and you could create relationships just like that and be in a good relationship for a bit, but then your bad self-concept will continue to create energy, and then your relationship will most probably end, and that person will leave you for somebody else because you don't think you're good enough and that kind of thing. So things do kind of come crashing down when you have a crappy self-concept at some point, but you can get those relationships and continue on with those relationships for quite some time before that bad self-concept does impact that relationship. But you can have a good self-concept but have those other things going on, so a relationship never really gets going because you've got a program in there that says people don't notice how great I am. I'm just using that as an example. You might find that there's something else there. So it's completely irrelevant in a way, your self-concept, when it comes to creating relationships. That's the funny thing to say, isn't it, when we talk about self-concept a lot. It's hugely important. It's hugely important. If you've got a bad self-concept, then you will struggle in all aspects of life. So we do need a good self-concept. So self-concept, awesome, but deal with all that surrounding stuff too. If you are finding that every relationship you get into is ending before it really gets going, there's just going to be something else in there that I say dealing with, but you're not dealing with it because it's on autopilot and you haven't really noticed it. Have a good think, what could this be? So if a relationship is ending before it gets started, that's like, why is that? So if that person is not seeing how great I am, so possibly you could have the same issue that I had going on. That's quite a common one actually, and people probably don't realise it. You just thinking, well, I do feel like I'm good enough, but not considering what you think other people think. And as we're talking about relationships here, then that is important, isn't it? So have a look at that and just see what you think, and just see if this sort of throws any light on the topic for you. Right, thank you for watching. If you found anything useful in this and you've had a bit of a look at my other videos, then I would absolutely love for you to subscribe to this channel. I did record a podcast with Harry earlier today, which was huge fun, as it always is. We talked a lot about life, about both of our lives in general, so there's a lot of waffle in there, lots of stuff going on, because both of us talk a lot. We do talk about manifesting in more general terms in there, different things that I've manifested knowingly and unknowingly in my life, and which was one really big thing for me back in the day, which meant that a person that I was with at the time had to act completely out of character in order for me to get this manifestation. But I talk about that in the podcast. I don't know when Harry will get around to editing that, probably not for another week or so, because he's got a lot going on at the moment. But just thought I'd mention it. And I will put a link to it. I will put a community post out when it goes live, because I keep forgetting to do that, because he doesn't keep that channel up to date anymore. I do forget about it and I don't promote them, so I will promote it when it goes live.